in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad. Let her ties in the hearse. I've been on a vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, do that ass the vibe, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit it to the sky, change haters on a tirade. Talking to their crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same, we all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel big from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, pin myself on the map. You long with the wind, but we knowing that it's cap. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Museum Diaries. I'm here with Veronica, the Duchess. She is going to share some more Sister Me with us today. This is her unpublished book, Sister Me, and she has excerpts that she shares every now and then, so she's going to be sharing some more today, whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Jax, and welcome. All right, this is page 360.
You keep going, I'll be right back. I need to get my phone and keep track of time.
Okay. 11/20/88, 7 a.m. Back on the I block at prison. I block is isolation block, where they keep you in an isolated cell. It's soundproof, it's light-proof, so that you can't get light in. They just put you in. For me, they give me a blackout box where they turned off the lights as well. So that was fun. I learned how to pace and count. It was 16 steps, and then 10 steps, and then 5 steps before I hit the toilet. So I've been doing. Okay, so I'm back on the I block. I try to blot out my glasses.
You might have to go get them.
No, I have them here. Okay. Excuse me. I try to blot out the verbal tirades of my insane neighbor with calming thoughts of children playing, laughing, singing in a wonderful play yard. Did I read this before?
You've read this one already.
Sorry. You can cut this out, right?
Yeah.
Sister Me, chapter 32, page 418. Life goes on. I was lucky. I had money to purchase a food package, a privilege allowed once a year at Christmas. I've had 2 little parties for the 10 other women here in Max. They are all new commitments. Some returnees, of course. This coming Christmas Eve, I've organized a little party as well. Those of us with a few dollars will provide the refreshments for the others. It's a real pleasure to be able to share a little food. I know how hard the adjustment can be, and so every little kindness helps let them know that prison isn't full of fierce, wicked people. Just ordinary others. Some mean, some nice, some temperamental, some placid. We make it as good of a holiday as we can. Already the women have been drawing images of wise men and angels on styrofoam cups, taping them on the walls for decoration. Larger drawings are being made with festive scenes or sayings. The mood is a restrained melancholy with a willed pleasantness and courageous smiles. We all hurt. One woman is here for the accidental killing of her baby. Another for accidentally running over a woman while intoxicated.
Doggies? Well, she told you to stay away. You didn't listen.
Comfort him, comfort him.
It's okay, baby. It's okay.
Lucky,
It's
Lucky,
okay.
Stop it. You've got to be nice. You don't fight. Don't
It's
bite
okay,
like
baby.
that. You don't
It's okay.
bite.
It's okay.
Be nice, Lucky. Be nice. I mean it. Okay.
Okay, sorry you guys. Our dogs got into a little bit of a tiff there. Napoleon, our puppy, he got a little too close to Lucky. I was watching him. He was putting his paw on her head.
Oh.
And she finally got fed up and put him in check. So that's what happened
He's still
there.
playful, you know.
Yeah,
just
he's a
the
puppy.
happiest little baby.
Yeah, it's okay, boy. It's okay.
And everything is a play toy to him, including Lucky. We make it as good of a holiday as we can. Already the women have been drawing the wise men, the angels. One woman is here for accidental killing of her baby, another for accidentally running over a woman while intoxicated, and so the stories go. Sad, but not vicious. More likely to move to heartbreak than indignation, once you know them. December 11th, 1988. My nerves are interfering with my work after being classified a security threat and a threat to the orderly operations of the institution. I knew it would be a fight to get out of the hole. My private attorney wrote a letter to the new temporary superintendent, T. Woods, and expressed our intention of filing suit if they continued to hold me in isolation. 2 custody status meetings later, I was transferred to the Max Security West Wing, which is undergoing radical changes. It's not the Max I knew prior to my escape. Now they are all channeling all the new commitments from the G1 receiving unit into this wing due to the state's overcrowding of the prison. An emergency measure that will probably, like so many others in the past, become regular policy. No matter how bad it is, it makes things harder. How I managed to get here is a story in itself. The unit counselor and supervisor recommended against it. I appealed and appealed. Now here I sit in a single cell, wearing a t-shirt and 501s instead of maximum security orange. Originally, after my return from Pierce County Jail, they placed me on the I block, buttressing their double security threat argument with the idea that they needed to know how I would respond to the additional 2 years from the courts for the escape. They also claimed they didn't know the whereabouts of one of my alleged crime partners since he was out on bail. They claimed he might decide to try for a replay on the escape. Issues finally resolved, I sit here stunned and half expecting to be thrown back into segregation. Excuse me. My nerves have been racked with stress. I take all my meals with about 40 new prisoners and some women from the SNU unit. SNU is special needs unit for women that have mental issues, emotional traumas, and so forth. Most of us have fostered a belief that as long as we obey a man's wishes, we will be better protected, because we have been taught that men make better decisions than we do. After coming to prison behind following our protector's advice and game plan, we gradually come to see life's choices in a better manner. Hopefully we do. I no longer have any of those false beliefs about men. It's not uncommon to find the older prisoners browbeating the younger ones about the man in their life. Most of us who have pulled real time know that our past lovers were incapable of managing the power we gave them. Consequently, we are much more independent than the newer prisoners. Cut, I have asthma.
Okay.
Let me get my little asthma attack. Excuse me. So we're talking about how men dominate the lives of these women. And in my generation, we were told, what does he say? You know, and they would automatically side with the man. All the men and the women, as though they had a greater sense of a situation or a better take of reality or whatever, which was absurd.
Do you think that's changed?
I hope
somewhat?
so. I
Yeah.
hope so.
Okay.
The new generation, I think it's changed. Juliet's. For women, it's not the men of our lives or the money we miss that pains us. It is our children. That is our central agony, their welfare and happiness. Most of us have fostered a belief that as long as we obey a man's wishes, we will be better protected because we have been taught that men make better decisions than we do. After coming to prison, behind following our protector's advice and game plan, we gradually come to see life's choices in a better manner. Hopefully we do. I have. I no longer have any of those false beliefs about men. It's not uncommon to find the older prisoners browbeating the younger ones about a man in their lives. Most of us who have pulled real time know that our past loves were incapable of managing the power we gave them. Consequently, we are much more independent than the newer prisoners and less idealistic about love, drugs, and crime. The catch is that by the time we do get out, our chances of relating to another who's not been incarcerated are not great. And then so much hardship has passed through our lives that we aren't exactly starting with a fresh slate one assumes should be there. Drugs, so familiar, so helpful, and always loyal to give its soothing balm to the troubled soul. All it requires is money. And of course, one thing leads to another. The trouble with long-term incarceration is that while it takes the criminal from the circumstances that provoke the crime, the damage done by the incarceration can make the person worse and weaker. Those things which are valuable to the criminal and buttress against criminal activity are lost or destroyed by the passage of time. Marriage, family relationships, occupational and educational opportunities removed. To put it simply, a mother who only occasionally goes on drug binges is involved haphazardly in a crime that sends her to prison long term. After years of incarceration, she re-enters society, defeated as a mother. Her children have been taken away from her and are either in juvenile halls or placed with families she doesn't even know. Her husband is with another woman, her family cold and unresponsive, ashamed of her social failure. She's older, no longer a young woman, but a middle-aged adult. She's no longer familiar with freedom. She has trouble making decisions, having lived so long where they're all made for her. Buying a bus transfer, yes, no. Buying some product, really need it? Nobody welcomes her into this world with open arms. No supportive relationships, except perhaps in prison. But then there's always the corner bar where no one is quick to judge or condemn. The third drink starts to bring relief. A welcome feeling. One thing leads to another. It's so easy for anyone outside the situation to say, I would never resort to such an obvious losing move. Return to drugs, booze, crime? Not me, never. I'd have learned my lesson. That's all nice, positive thinking, but realistically, it's not how it works. People keep returning to prison, en masse. It's easy to believe that they must be defective, have a real criminal mentality. Very easy to believe until you fall into the institutional system, and systematically everything that supported your sense of self-worth and personal ability to cope is stripped from you. Criminals are people whose lives have been devastated with hardships, losses, and despair. Convicts are people who have seen the devastation completed. Poverty plays a role. For those at the bottom of society, mostly born into a life of no advantages, either personal or social, the world of legitimate work is not an opportunity, but another defeat. The wealth of the mass of the population is actually partly supported by the low pay of the people at the bottom of society. The diner in the restaurant looks at the bill, flinches a little, adds a reasonable tip for the waiter, and thinks he's done well by everyone. But the busboys, the dishwashers, the cleanup women are getting minimum wage or even less. If they got a reasonable pay, the bill would be higher. The same is true of the agricultural worker whose sweated labor makes agricultural worker whose sweated labor makes vegetables so cheap. The illegal alien dressmaker who has to take licking the chocolate exterior. Oh, sorry, I lost my page.
Well, we can stop right here.
Okay.
And then we can continue on another section, another part of Sister Me at another time.
Sure, we can talk.
But we can talk and discuss the last few pages. You mentioned that people would come in and out of prison. The people would keep returning to prison. Mm-hmm. And this you saw often with the women?
The recidivism rate is about 80%. So
of offenders
out of
go
100
back?
women, 80 of them will come back.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it might even be higher now.
Yeah.
In the United States, the last estimate I heard was on a documentary yesterday called The Innocence Project. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. A judge, I believe, said that we have approximately 8 million Americans that are in prisons or jails or somehow tied into this system. So it's grown since one of my paintings
that's
where I
a lot
said
of
6
people.
million. Yeah, 8 million now.
And I know that we incarcerate more than any other country in the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, these prisons are institutions where they're for profit.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So there's money to be made by people with a lot of money that go into this business. And what are we really doing? I think that we should create better rehabilitation programs for offenders,
Absolutely.
for minor offenders, not for your serious crime offender like serial killers or rapists and murderers, you know, but instead of incarcerating all these people, we should look at some other form of rehab for these people.
I agree. Life Skills Center.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's self-sufficient and each person holds a position in that society. You give them a couple of blocks of land. You can encapsulate it with electric wires or whatever so they don't escape. But what they basically do is they live a normal life. They work. They can have their children there. They can go to school. But generally, they're going to be working at a trade, learning something that can translate to money once they leave the Life Skills Center. And they're taught things about anger management, about abuse, abusing others, or being an abuse victim.
Or other life skills, too.
Life skills. Life skills are so essential. I think that of what I've seen, the most important thing these women needed were life skills. The skill how to manage your life, how to find out about going to college, getting a GED. They have no idea that there are options for them at all. I never knew until I went to prison and started studying. And
you know what's another good one that we don't learn about, not even when we're in school growing up? We are never taught how to manage our money.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I would see that
that's at the top of the list
as a life skill, right?
Oh, it is. Excuse me.
So Veronica stepped away for a second. She's gonna go see if it's an important phone call coming in. We're expecting a call from Juliet, and
Hello.
I don't think that's her.
What? Hi, Veronica. How are you doing today? I'm fine. Who is this?
Okay. You know, she gets these calls and they're scam calls. My phone, fortunately, my phone will identify a scam call when it comes in. Veronica's phone, however, doesn't identify scam calls. And the very bad thing about that is she got a call about 2 weeks ago, which prompted us to change all the credit cards and all the bank cards that we have because they phished her for information. She not knowing that they were looking to illegally tap into her credit cards by her giving them information. She thought they were legitimately calling from the National Debt Relief. Well, she found out that the National Debt Relief never calls people. You have to actually look for the help yourself. You have to, what's the word? I can't think of the word right now, but anyhow, she failed to identify the call as a scam call, and as a result of that, one of her credit cards was charged $6,100 for travel expenses in Europe. And we caught this the day that the card was charged, which happened right after the phone call that she got from these scam callers that fish you for information. But the interesting thing is they knew her social security number, her credit card numbers, who she banked with, and it made her think that this was a legitimate call. And right now I can hear her on the phone, and it's another one of those scam calls. If I were her, I would have hung up the phone by now. Veronica, hang up the phone! It's a scam call! So that's what happened, and we had, as a result of that, we had to have credit cards replaced with new numbers. That way these people don't have those numbers on file. And I don't know how this happens, how these people are able to retrieve so much information on one person and their banking, but they did. And like I said, they charged one of her cards for $6,100 following that scam phone call. So, I'm gonna leave it here. She's dealing with this phone call. I'm gonna find out what this phone call is about. But I want to thank you guys for watching our Museum Diaries. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications so you're alerted to every time we release a new video. And remember, we're on social media. Facebook, museumamericana.com, Instagram, Museum Americana, Twitter, Museum Americana, and Patreon, Museum Americana. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. We love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.